How do? Welcome back. Well, today I'm going to do a review, and I haven't seen this review on YouTube, which I'm quite surprised about because it's one of the Muntons Flagship range, and they're very popular. But I've never seen a review yet for the American Amber Ale. Of course, we've seen the Hazy IPA. Everyone's done that. The West Coast IPA. The American Pale Ale, but I haven't seen anyone, even the Stout, but I haven't seen anyone do a review of the American Amber Ale, which is part of the Flagship range. So I thought I'd do a review of it. Now, I got this the first week of May, and I put it on the first week of May. I ordered it 30th of April, and I get next day delivery, so it will have come on the 1st of May, and I'll have put it on very shortly after that. That means that this has been now 6 weeks in the bottle, maybe coming up to 7 weeks, because I gave it the full 14 days as per instructions. And it's basically just a kit, and you get some dry hops. I think it's Centennial and Cascade. I think it's about 20 grams of each, or 25 grams of each, something like that. And then you add those on day 10. So I followed this according to the instructions. It's had now a good 6 weeks in the bottle, so it should be ready. And it's been chilled in the fridge overnight, so it'll be nice and cold, just like the Americans like to drink them. So let's crack it open and we'll see what it tastes like. Oh, nice big hiss. Some CO2 coming off, that's good. And I've got a non-nucleated pub glass because it's an ale, an amber ale. And there we go. And doesn't that look nice? Looks like a proper pub ale. Let me put that down there. That looks like a nice pub ale, really nice copper amber colour, actually, deep copper amber colour, frothy head. I don't know how long that's going to stick around, but it's a nice white frothy head. It looks just like a really nice pint that you'd have in a pub. Don't forget as well, this is an ale, so it looks like an ale. What's the aroma like? Okay, so the aroma, well, is malty. It's malty. You can definitely pick up the maltiness. Little bit of a homebrewy smell or aroma to this, I must admit. Yeah, a little bit like a sulphury, eggy aroma, which is strange because I used their ale yeast with this. But yeah, there's a little bit of a home brewiness to this beer. And of course you've got the hops, you've got the citrus, and a little bit of like a grapefruitiness. Okay, so let's dive in and take a taste. Cheers. Oh, that's cold. Okay, that's nice. I'm not really picking up that funny little aroma in the taste. Maybe it's because it's so chilled. Nice carbonation. I used a teaspoon of dextrose with this. It's a light-bodied, almost lagerish mouthfeel, which is surprising because being an amber ale, I thought it was going to be like an English amber ale, a bit more malt forward, a bit more richer with those toffee notes. Maybe I've over chilled this so that the actual malt flavours aren't coming through as much. But there is malt there, don't get me wrong. Yeah, there's some sweetness, like a toffee sweetness, but it's quite light. It's not like an English amber ale. Then of course you've got the hops that come in. Predominantly is like a grapefruit. There's also a bit of lemon in there as well, which adds a bit of sharpness, and it doesn't finish bitter at all. Minimal bitterness at the back end, and it finishes semi-dry. It's not a bad pint. I mean, I'm not getting that that funny aroma in the flavour, so that's something. In fact, that's actually gone now. That funny aroma, that seems to have gone from the nose. Now that it's probably had a minute or two, just, yeah, I'm not picking it up anymore. Okay, it must have just been when I first poured it. I got this strange, kittish, and a little bit of like a sulphury sort of aroma coming off. But it's not there now. Right, this is a weird one, because amber ale, I was expecting an ale. This is actually quite lager-like. In fact, I would say, if you want a good descriptor of this, it's reminding me of a Vienna lager, but it's using American hops. It's got, you know, like with a Vienna lager, you've got the maltiness, but it's not like an English ale maltiness, an amber ale. And of course it wouldn't be, because it's a lager. It's a Vienna lager, which in my opinion is the first ever pale lager in the world. Not the Urquell, it's the Vienna lager, which was first introduced a year before Pilsner Urquell. This is, yeah, in my opinion, this is quite similar to a Vienna lager as opposed to an ale. It's light-bodied, light to medium, and of course it's got a good fizz to it, because I just assume all American beers are fizzy. So I used a teaspoon. Usually with my ales I use half or 3/4 of a teaspoon of priming sugar, but this got the full teaspoon, so it's really nice and effervescent in the mouth. Again, with the light body, that's reminiscent of lager. And also the malty profile, it's more subdued than an English amber ale. Again, it's reminding me of Vienna lager, the ones that I had. I think the last time was when I was in Zagreb in Croatia a year or two ago, because I'm not a big drinker of Vienna lagers. You don't actually see them much where I am, but yeah, that's what this is reminding me of, those Vienna lagers I had in Zagreb. So I mean, it's nice, don't get me wrong. I was just expecting a bit more richness. The hops are the hops. Cascade and Centennial. Grapefruit. Grapefruit, bit of lemon. There is a bit of earthiness at the back. I'm just starting to pick that up now, but it's not so much that it makes this like a dry finish. It's not, it's a semi-dry, but you are getting a bit of earthiness. I think that's from the Centennial that's giving this earthiness at the back. And of course the Cascade will be your grapefruit and the citrus. I mean, it doesn't taste like a kit. I had my doubts when I was smelling it at the start, that aroma. I was thinking, oh God, this is going to be a kittish, but it doesn't taste like a kit. It tastes like a nice beer. It's just a bit underwhelming from what I was expecting. I was expecting more of an ale. This would pass easily as a Vienna lager with the added American hops. Yeah. Okay, so that's it. That's the Flagship Amber Ale. Nothing wrong with it. It's It's just not really my cup of tea. I probably wouldn't be brewing this one again, to be honest. I'm not really big on the Vienna lager scene, and this is what this is reminding me of. So yeah, I won't be brewing it again, but every now and then I'll enjoy one of these, especially if the weather gets warmer. It'll be nice to sit outside. It's light, it's refreshing, citrusy. Yeah, it's just a nice pleasant pint for sitting out in the garden with. So that's it, the Flagship American Amber Ale. I won't be buying it again. There you go, each to their own. You might like it. If you like Vienna lagers, you'll probably like this one, because that's what it's reminding me of. Right, got a few things coming up as well, because everything now is starting to come up to being 6 weeks in the bottle. The Kolsch is ready for tasting. That's 6 weeks in the bottle, but I'll probably leave it another couple. I'm not that impressed with it, to be honest. That was tasting actually quite kittish. So I'm just thinking it may need more time conditioning, so I'll probably give that 6 weeks now, because I put it on about the same time as this. So that's 6 weeks in the bottle. I'm going to probably give that a couple more weeks, just to see if it improves. I've been trying the odd bottle throughout the 6 weeks, and it is getting better. I just don't think it's at its prime yet. So the Kolsch, yeah, a couple of weeks, and I'll review that. I think it should be ready then. That'll be 2 weeks, 2 months, sorry, in the bottle at that stage. So it should be at its prime. Let's hope it gets better. Oh, that what was it called? Winkel, something like that. It was the Keller beer. It's a light Keller beer, German style, and I got the recipe from Muntons, if you remember, and I got the 2 of their design your own, craft your own beer extracts and the hops they recommended. That's 6 weeks now, if not more, in the bottle. So I'm going to be trying that, the Zwickel, I think it was called. It's a light Keller beer style from Germany, although interestingly they use American hops in it. I don't know why when it's German style, but hey ho, I made it as per instructions. That will probably be next week. And then of course I'll do the Kolsch then, and fingers crossed with that. Then what I've got, it'll be coming up again to about 6 weeks in the bottle. I've got Hampstead Homebrew. I've got their summer ale. It's called Phoenix. It's one of their in-house brands. It's called Innkeeper's Reserve Phoenix Summer Ale. Because, you know, I'm trying to find a really nice golden ale, summer ale, so I can give some bottles away to my mother's partner, who's about 90 now. And he buys Hobgoblin Gold. I think he buys it, not that he likes the styles so much, but it's probably very cheap where he buys it from. I think you can pick one of them up for like £1.30 a bottle or something, so it's probably the cheapest, and he just buys them. But I'm trying to find something that's a very nice golden ale that I can give him a few bottles and help save him some money. So I've tried a few I'm not that impressed with. I'm going with this Hampstead Innkeeper's Phoenix Summer Ale / Golden Ale, and I must admit I've tried, that's coming up for 6 weeks in the bottle, and I've tried one already and I'm damn impressed. I really am. So I'll be doing a review of that soon. Oh, the Muntons as well, the Connoisseurs Limited Edition Summer Ale. I think that's about a month in the bottle now. So I'll give it a few more weeks after I've done all these other reviews. That'll probably be coming into its prime. So far, not impressed. I'm really not impressed with it. I've tried a couple of connoisseurs in the past. I think the last one was a mild, and I really didn't like it. It was kittish. It just wasn't a good kit, to be honest. But that was many years ago, and I may have improved as a brewer. I hope I have. So let's see how it turns out. I'm not that impressed so far, but give it a few more weeks. I tend to find these lighter beers do need a much longer time in the bottle before they're sort of acceptable quality beers. The more hoppy beers, the heavier, darker beers, you can start, you know, drinking them a lot sooner. But these lighter beers, with nice light, floral, citrusy sort of hops, light malt, you really need to push them back to six weeks, 2 months in the bottle. So I'm going to be reviewing that, but I'm not impressed with it so far. And then what I've just put on is a budget kit. I thought I'm going to do a series of just budget kits, 1 can, cheapest I can find, mixed with a brewing answer, so kit and kilo. And whilst I was on the Homestead Homebrew website, I found this kit, this brand called the Heart of England. And what interested me is the packaging. That is not Muntons packaging. In fact, that looks like Breeze. So it's the Heart of England. I've got the best bitter. You know, if you're in for a penny, you're in for a pound with me. So I also got 2 others. I got what they call the President's Pale Bitter. So this is the best bitter. This is a President's Pale Bitter. The 1.5 kilogram tubs. Again, that to me that just says Breeze with the packaging, and it's 1.5 kilogram. That says Breeze to me. And I've liked Breeze extracts actually. They do a great different range of different malts. So I've got this one as well, the President's Pale Bitter, and the one that I've put on is their IPA. I think it's more like an English IPA. And so I put that on yesterday with this 1.5 kilogram kit and a brew enhancer. I've got brew enhancers for all of them. This is the Super Malt Beer Enhancer. Super Malt, if you don't know, it's malt that doesn't clump up. So it's a malt extract, dry malt extract, but it doesn't clump up when you put hot water on it. So it's a Super Malt Beer Enhancer, 50-50, the Super Malt dry malt extract and dextrose. So it was a kit and kilo, and what I found out is that inside these tubs is nothing but extract. It's not been hopped, it's not bitter. It actually tasted quite nice and sweet actually. So it is just, I think it's just a pure Breeze extract. So you're thinking, well, how do you get the bitterness and how do you get the you know, the aromas, the hop aromas and flavours? Well, I probably can't get these lids off because they're really tight. But inside, what you get is this one. I think I can get this one off and show you. There we go. You get the bog standard brewer's yeast for these kits. I'm actually using it just to see how it works. But what you also get is a clear pouch of hop oil. Now for the IPA there was more in than that. It came up to about here. This one is the best bitter, so you get a bit less. And I tasted a bit of this. When you open these you can definitely smell the hop aroma. And there is isomerized hop extract in here as well as flavour oils from the hops. And I know there was isomerized hop extract, so when I tasted it, my God, it was bitter. Because you don't need a lot of isomerized extract. It's usually 6%, and you don't need a lot to bitter 23 litres, which is what they recommend. Now, I didn't. I short brewed to 20 litres, and I'm glad I did, because when I took a hydrometer reading at 20 litres, it was 1044. So I'm looking at something like 4.2, 4.3% beer, and that's at 20 litres. If I went to the full 23, you're probably looking at something like 3.5 to 4, something in that range. Now, don't forget, these are traditional English beers, so that's, you know, that's a traditional English range, especially for bitters and ales. It's them 3.5, 4%. I mean, back in the day, going back several decades, you know, if a beer was over 4%, it was like loony juice. You know, it was meant to be really strong. Of course, we've got more used to it now, and we've got beers that are 5%. You know, the continental lagers, and we've got American beers, craft beers at 6%. 4% seems nothing. It's a sessionable beer now. But yeah, back in the day, the traditional English beers, if it was 4%, 4.5%, it was meant to be quite strong, sort of like, you know, loony juice. And I think that's what they're doing. They're just trying to replicate simple English pub beers. So I brewed it, the IPA, because the IPAs, traditional English IPAs, they are a little bit higher in the ABV from your normal bitters and pale ales. And at 20 litres, the hydrometer was 1044. I couldn't actually determine if it was 1042 or 1044, but I'm being the optimist, and I'm saying it's 1044, which should make it about 4.2, 4.3% if it comes down to 1010. So that went on yesterday, and well, I'm going to give it, with these being 1.5 kilogram kits with a kilogram of brew enhancer, I think these are going to need the 6 weeks in the 6 weeks to 2 months in the bottle. So yeah, maybe, where are we now? Beginning of July, August. So maybe, yeah, just in time for autumn in September, these should be coming into their own. So perfect timing for sort of like seasonal beers. So that's my next project. I'm going to get these 3 on and just see, because the budget, they're only £12.49. I forgot to mention that, £12.49 a tin. And of course you've got the extra fermentables, but you know what, if you use a bag of sugar, what's that, 80p, add a pinch, you know, you could do this for about just over £13 for 40 bottles. We'll see what it turns out like. Sometimes these budget kits can actually be very good. I'm hoping that this will be as well. So, but that's for a couple of months. Anyway, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Like I say, I'm not going to be buying this again. It's just not my style. It tastes all right, you know. Now that initial funny aroma seems to have gone. It's dissipated. It smells fine. Bit of malt in there, the hops. Nothing wrong with it as a beer. It's just light-bodied. There's maltiness there, a little bit of graininess, but it's too much like a Vienna lager for me. I'm not keen on Vienna lagers, so yeah, I won't be buying it again. But thanks for watching. It's been a pleasure, and as always, see you in the next video. Bye bye for now.